Guys, let's continue with the next part. Yesterday, we have discussed some more basics about the Ansible, and where I have talked about some of the, we enhance the configuration of the web server, right? And plus some basics part like variables and other things we have discussed yesterday, right? So today we will again enhance our the same playbook, right? So let me log into my respective controller node. So today we will go and enhance the same playbook, right? But the main topic for today would be very much interesting. A lot of dynamic use cases you can solve with this particular topic, right? So today, the main topic that I would like to focus more on is the concept called facts. Okay, and this is the topic that will actually give you the idea that how Ansible come up to know and detect about, right, about your target node, right? So technically you guys know that one of the node where you run the Ansible, right, either maybe with the help of ad hoc command, or you can run the Ansible with the code that's called the playbook. Okay, but whatever you run, guys, the ad hoc command or the playbook go and implement on the top of the target node. Okay, or I can say the managed node. Okay, so I told you multiple times, Ansible is a kind of a rel tool, or I can say the intelligence tool, and it intelligence come from the module. So for example, if we use the module called package, okay, in the playbook world, module which is known as a task. So if you run the package task, so this is the module, or this is the task who will go and run on the top of your target node. And this is the one who will detect about your operating system, that who are you, you are Red Hat version 6 or 8, or Ubuntu or Windows. Okay, so guys, question over here is, right, how package module come to know about your target node, that you are Red Hat version 6 or you are Red Hat version 8 or Ubuntu. Right, who gonna help the package module, or who gonna help the other task or other modules? So finally, in the simple term, in the overall, right, who gonna help your module to know about your target, so that accordingly they take the decision. Okay, for example, if package module detect that you are Red Hat, so accordingly they will call the yum command, or maybe the dnf command. Okay, so answer is the facts. So facts is one concept, right, who help all the module, or I can say all the Ansible, up to tell or detect about your target node. Okay, but it's not only facts is not only detecting or retrieving the information about your target nodes, right? They will do lots of things for you. For example, right, for example, let's say this target node, maybe Red Hat or Ubuntu, whatever they are, finally this is the operating system, right? Okay, and if it is operating system, okay, so this guy has some RAM, this guy has some CPU. One minute, guys, let me change the setting. One minute. Okay, these guys will have some kind of hard disk, or lots of things extra they have, right? So you know what happened, guys, whenever you run any Ansible playbook from the controller node. Okay, and before playbook implement, okay, for example, in the playbook you write multiple tasks. Okay, so before any task implement on the target node, okay, for example, one of the task is the package task. Okay, what playbook will do for you, or what controller node will do for you, they will go to this target node, right? So you can think in this way: the first step is, right, first time, right, whenever you run the playbook, every time the first step is, right, they will go and try to find all the information about your target node. Means they will try to know the total number RAM you have, the total number RAM that's free right now in current point in time, the total number CPU you have, total hard disk or total partitions you have, your total network cards you have, what is your current IP address, or maybe you have 10 or 20 IP address in the system. Plus lots of other things. For example, what is your kernel version? Okay. Lots of like information, guys, they will go and collect about the OS. And after they collect all these information, they will send back this information to your controller node, or I can say to your current playbook that is running right now. Okay, so first step is they will go and try to retrieve as much as information they can retrieve about, they wanted to know about your target node. And all this information they will send back to your control node wherever you are running the playbook. Okay, and this information, whatever they're retrieving, for example, one of the information is the total number of RAM that is free. RAM means memory is free. So they try to retrieve this information also. And the good thing is, guys, about is, memory RAM is, is a thing that is keep on changing. Right now my memory free is 2 GB. Maybe after 10 second, my number of memory free would be 2.5 GB. So it's keep on changing. CPUs keep on changing the number of CPU cycle, how much we are currently using, right? So technically it means whenever you run the playbook, they will go and retrieve the live information about your target node. Okay, maybe target node will be Linux. So technically they will retrieve the real, or I can say the live information. And this information technically in the Ansible world is known as facts. So I can use you. So it means either you can use the vocabulary called called information, okay, or you can use a word called facts. So whenever you run the playbook, okay, always first time, they will go to your target node and try to retrieve, or I can say one word here, they try to gather all the information and all the facts about your target node and send back to the controller node. Or I can say send back to a playbook. So what is the benefit of this? Okay, the benefit of this case, now by these information you can take live decisions in your coding. For example, right, anybody who ever worked on any kind of clustering environment, right, maybe Kubernetes cluster, or Swarm cluster, or Mesos Marathon, or Hadoop, or Spark, any kind of clustering technology if you ever worked on. Okay, so typically in the clustering technology, it is something like this. It is something like this. If you want to set up some cluster, okay, for example, in your company or in your data center, you have multiple different computers, IP1, IP2, IP3. Or let's say we have a requirement to set up some kind of cluster. Okay, let's say I would have to set up one cluster called Hadoop cluster, for example. Okay, and my requirement is, right, my requirement is I would have to set up this system as my Hadoop cluster, this system is my Hadoop setup, this system is my Hadoop node, something like this, right? And my requirement is, right, I would like to use IP1 only if if this system has more than 2 GB RAM free. I don't know the current requirement, current situation. Maybe this system have maybe 16 GB RAM in total, but the current utilization maybe 15 GB. Okay, so maybe in the Hadoop, or maybe in the Spark, or XYZ, just I'm taking as example over here, Hadoop. Okay, so maybe in the Hadoop, for example, my requirement is if the system IP1 having less than 2 GB RAM free right now, and if I try to set up the Hadoop cluster there, it might fail. So what can I do in my Ansible playbook? First of all, guys, Ansible, you guys know, when you create a playbook or the code, it is help you to configure the things. So I'm using this playbook to configure something. So I'll ask my playbook, go to the system and configure Hadoop for me. Okay, or configure Kubernetes cluster for me, or Docker for me. Okay, but I'll tell my playbook that you have to take some kind of live decision. And decision would be, okay, I want first go and check if this system current RAM is more than 2 GB RAM free, then only you just apply your task or apply your module and configure it. And if it is less than 2 GB, skip this node and go to second node. Again, go and check there. And maybe not only the RAM, Just go and check if this system has more than 2 GB RAM free, and if this system has more than 100 GB hard disk free or available, then only configure it. Otherwise, skip it and go to third node. So maybe in my data center, I have hundreds and thousands of node we have, but I don't want to configure all the nodes. I have some kind of prerequisite or pre requirement, and whenever those requirement met, then only I would like to configure those things. Otherwise, I would like to skip those things. Okay. So, but who will help you? Who will help the playbook to tell the things? Because obviously, guys, I don't want manually tell my playbook that don't configure an IP3 or don't configure IP2 or configure IP1. I don't want to do this. I want my playbook take the live decision. So who gonna help this? Here, the facts is a concept. Who gonna gather the information? That's called facts. Okay, and after they gather the information, right, we will use those information to check. Like we can do like a conditions. If or else, if this system has 2 GB RAM free, then run the task. Otherwise, skip the task. Okay. So writing the conditions, if or else, won't be the big deal, right? How to write the condition in the Ansible, I will tell you. So it's not big deal. Big deal is if you don't have the information, how you can take the conditions, how you can check the conditions, right? So here facts will help me to gather the information. That is the reason, guys. If you ever try, let me show you how you can see the facts. For example, right now this is one of my target node 155. So I'll go to um, my controller node, and very quickly let me create one more new folder. Okay, I'll create one new file here. Let's say f.yml, and I'm running one playbook against this IP 155, and I'm going to run one task. It will be any kind of random task. Let's say just for testing, I'm just running a debug task. And guys, in the debug task, we have a message as a property, or I can say attribute and say this is for testing, right? Dot dot dot. Okay, very simple playbook. So just wanted to tell you one thing, that whenever you run the playbook, you have one task or 100 tasks in the playbook, but whenever you run the playbook, when you run the playbook, right, they will do something for you. But before this, I just want to tell you one more thing here. Today, my playbook failed, right? They say they have no match called IP 155. They skip IP 155. What I mean by this. So technically, just wanted to tell you one more small thing about the Ansible is, right, whenever you want to apply Ansible playbook or the ad hoc command against any target node, here my target node is 155. So it is compulsory, compulsory to make IP 155 as the part of the inventory. Okay, your playbook or Ansible will only run the code, or I can say playbook or the arrow command, only if or only on those IP who are the part of your inventory. So Ansible won't run without the inventory, even though IP 155 is here. If I even try to ping IP 155, so there's no challenge in the 155. 155 here we have a connectivity. Okay, but if you want to run any Ansible thing, ad hoc or playbook, right? In any of the cases, right, your IP 155 is the host, and host should be the part of your inventory. But right now, if I show you, right, all of my inventory list, so I don't have IP 155 as a part of my inventory. So it is compulsory to have whatever, guys, and wherever IP you would like to implement your Ansible thing, that should be the part of your your inventory. That's the one small thing you have to keep in mind. Okay, so because inventory is like is like to tell the Ansible about your target node, that who are you, what is your login name, password, what is the type of connection we require to connect with you, or maybe some more thing in the future we will see. So you can think inventory like a database of your target node. So Ansible say I am the control node. If I don't know about your who are you, I will skip those hosts. Okay, now now I have three inventory. Okay, and now it is your choice. You want to run your playbook in all the inventory or one single inventory. For example, I would like to run only one single IP. That would be your choice. But whatever IP you would like to run, it should be the part of your inventory. That's the small thing you should know. Okay. So now if you notice guys here, I am running one playbook on this IP. Okay. And the task that I'm running here is to just to print the message. Nothing very fancy. Okay. But if you notice one thing, they whenever you run the playbook, they always run one task, and the task is called gathering the facts. Means technically, technically they are going to the IP 155, right? 155, and say, I would like to retrieve or gather all the information about you. And all the information I'm storing in one of the variable. And they're again storing one of the special variable, I can say, and name of the variable is called Ansible underscore facts. Yesterday we have created multiple variable like X or Y or Z. Okay. But there's some internal variables, or I can say pre-defined variable or pre-created variable. One of the name of the variable is Ansible underscore facts. So all this information, whatever they're collecting about the IP 155, they store in this particular variable, or because they store in this variable. And if you want to use this variable, you can use, right, the way you use the other variables, right? So for example, if you wanted to print the information whatever they gather, so what can you do? Just print it, because we know the name of the variables. So how to print, you guys know. Let me print from here. So my variable name is Ansible underscore facts. So guys, this variable we haven't created because this is the predefined, I can say pre-created variable by the Ansible. Okay. And because this is the variable, so I have to you put this variable into the double curly braces. Okay. Now what happened? When I run this playbook, right, they always gather the effects and all the information they store in this variable, and this variable I'm printing here just to show you what information they are actually storing in this particular variable. And I'm running this playbook again. If you see, first time they gather the information, the gathering, and second I asked them to print, and they printed. And if you guys see here, these are the information they're storing. Lots of information, guys, they are collecting for us. Okay. So for example, they're collecting about, okay, about your OS family. And I told you guys, who tell any module in the Ansible about your OS? You are Red Hat or you are Ubuntu. So these are the facts, guys. So OS family is one of the key, and Red Hat is one of the value. Okay, and OS family is also known as a variable, or OS family is also known as fact. So OS underscore family is one of the fact that will tell all of my other all of my other modules that you are running on the top of Red Hat or on the top of Ubuntu. Or maybe if you got see your package manager. So somebody, I think last 2 days back, they were asking how we come to know that in this Red Hat 8 they are using yum command or they are using DNF command for the package manager. So in by chance, because they detected this is Red Hat 8 somewhere, maybe if you go up and down, they will, you can see they detected you are Red Hat version 8. And normally in the Red Hat version 8 we prefer to use DNF instead of the yum command. So they tell you, so internally, if they say, if you're trying to use the package module, I will call the DNF command behind the scene. Or lots of information they find for you. They tell you the total number of processor you have, total processor count you have, plus plus maybe you will see the total number of RAM, swap free, RAM free, which Linux, which type of OS you are, Windows or Linux, the total swap free, RAM free. So all the information, guys, they will gather for you. So you see here, lots of information they retrieve for you. And these information, they will talk about the total number of hard disks you have, the total hard disk free you have, the MEM total memory. So maybe that system will have 100 GB RAM, but total RAM right now that is free is 821. Okay. So technically, all the information, guys, whatever the mainly in the configuration world we normally need, they will retrieve for us. Okay. We can also customize, we can add extra information also. This called custom facts. We will discuss in upcoming classes how we can add extra information sometime we need. Okay, but almost all the major information that we need normally in the configuration world, they will retrieve for us. And by chance, all this information, they store in one variable, and this variable, you can use a word called key, but technically this variable here is known as fact. So like a lot of facts they retrieve. One of the fact is mem total MB, one is module setup, one is mount, one is block size, one is device name, one is mount point. Okay, so lots of facts they retrieve for us. And now if your requirement is to only to print this value, okay, mem total underscore MB, so what can you do? What can you do? Even though if you just go up also, you'll see all this information they store in one mean variable. You guys see here lots of information they retrieve for us, right? Even though if you see here, they also tell you you are Red Hat version 8. I know you are. Who are you? You are not a 6 or Red 7. You are Red version 8. Okay. But if you just go up, you will see, right, the entire information, whatever we are retrieving here, they store in one special variable. By chance, they are not showing here, but internally they store in a variable called Ansible underscore facts. But if your requirement is to retrieve only the architecture part or this board name and something like this, okay, for so what can you do here? Just write here, because it is what it is like a, it contains lots of information, and you want to retrieve only limited information. You can write in the square bracket. Let's say mem total free. I don't know. I just forgot the actual name. Let me check what exact name they used here. Is a this one, or let's say, let me let me print the system name. Okay, system. So I write system here. So it's like a it's like a array. Okay, and you have to put into single quote or double quotes, something like this. Okay, so what what it will do for you, it will, rather than they will sorry. And guys, understand one small thing, right? In the programming world, if you want to put double quote inside the double quote, 99.9% it won't work in any of the language. You to put double quote inside, single quote inside the double quote, right? So because system is one kind of a string, so you have to put single quote. Why? Because outside we have a double quotes. So now here they will retrieve all the information and store in a special variable. Okay, but from this special variable, I ask them only to print the name of my OS type. Is Linux or Red Hat or Windows. That's what they have done for us. So technically what I'm trying to tell you here is, right, whenever you run the playbook, whenever you run the playbook, okay, controller node will retrieve almost all the major information about your target node. And guys, this information is very much valuable when I go for some advanced Ansible playbook. We use this information to take the decision. One of the great example use I explain you already here. Okay, for example, you want to set up the cluster, hundreds of computers you have, you'll take the decision. Okay, and say, hey, this IP belongs to Docker. This is IP is good. let's use this system to set up the Docker. This IP having this much information, and this is good for setting up the, let's say, database server. Okay, so those kind of decision plus some extra things also we can achieve here. Okay, so these are facts. But understand one thing: facts will only retrieve whenever you run the playbook. But if you try to run the ad hoc command, there guys, they never retrieve. Internally, they will use facts, but they never retrieve the facts, so we can't able to print it and use it. So what I mean by this, okay. So if you try to run any ad hoc command, okay, let me run the ad hoc command on the IP address 155. Okay, and again, I'm using a model called debug to print some message. Let's say message is hi. And understand one thing, guys. Right, understand one thing. After the syntax of Ansible ad hoc command is, after Ansible, we have to type the IP from our inventory. So if you think you want to run your module only one particular IP, you can write the IP. But if you think no, you don't want to run on all the inventory IP, you can use the keyword called all. Keyword called all. So it will run on all the IP you have in the inventory. But you can't use any other IP, right? That is not the part of inventory, right? Whatever IP you write here, it should be there inside your inventory file. I discussed already with you. Okay, but this is the ad hoc command, and in the ad hoc command, guys, right, they directly run the module for you. Module will use some of the facts internally for you. That's a different point. But here, if you wanted to print all the facts or want to retrieve some information from the facts, you can't do it directly here. And for this, we have a special module available called setup module. So setup is a special module. Okay, 1 minute. Let me share this command. Okay. So setup is a special module from the Ansible. It will help you to go to IP 155 and retrieve all the or gather all the facts for you about this IP. So let me, if I run this, it will run, all right, it will retrieve all the facts for you. See here, they will retrieve all the facts. Okay, and now here you'll see all these facts or variable or the key they store in a variable called, if I go up, there's a lot of information guys they retrieve. Okay, and they store in one minute, lots of information we have. Yeah, and they store all the information in a variable called answer facts. Okay, so all this information what I was seeing here, it is stored in a variable called answer facts. But in the answer fact, if you only want to retrieve this information or maybe this information, okay, for example, I would like to retrieve the architecture of my OS. Okay, so I can filter it. And how to filter in the command line? So in the setup module, they have one argument called filter, and filter we can pass the name of that particular fact or the key. So they will only retrieve that particular key for us. So they only retrieve that particular key for us. Okay, so in the command line, if you are interested to know a little bit about your target node, that your Windows or how much RAM you have, your network devices, your firewall, your routers, your switches, depending who is your target node. So you can use a setup module, and accordingly you can use a filter argument and use your name of your effect. And you don't have to remember the fact name, right? Because there's maybe hundreds and thousands of facts, right? You just run the setup command. It will give you all the information. And now from here, you can just go and retrieve your fact name. For example, I'm looking for, let's say this one, the Ansible system name. Just go and copy from here and filter it. So they will give this information and say, I know IP155 is Linux, or let me try to use who is IP172. But since IP172 is down, it failed because it's down or may not be there, right? But you can retrieve all the information about the OS. Okay. Now, why guys, this information fact is very interesting thing. Now we are going to use facts in multiple example in the future classes, but yesterday we stuck in one example, and that will that can be solved, all right, with the help of facts. What I mean by this, so yesterday guys, if you remember, let me launch these two OS, this one and this one. Okay, so yesterday guys, I configure one of my computer as the web server and I customize the web server. Okay, and guys, whenever you customize the web server, so because we are writing right now using Apache web server, and if you want to customize the Apache web server, normally you have to use a keyword called virtual host start and virtual host close. So these are the keyword not from the Ansible, it is a keyword from Apache web server. And by chance in the virtual host keyword, you have to put the IP address and the port number. And this IP address is the IP address of your current operating system. Current means wherever you are deploying or configuring the Apache web server. For example, if your requirement is to configure Apache web server on IP 155, Okay. So if you want this OS to be configured as Apache web server, okay, and you want to customize this Apache web server according to requirement. Okay. So in this case, you have to write these two lines, and here the IP would be 155. So here you don't have to write the controller node IP, because for the Apache web server, they don't know who is controller node of the Ansible. Apache server think I am the Apache web server. That's all. Okay, so technically here this is syntax from the Apache web server that you have to put your own current personal IP address of your server, and depend which port you want to use. For example, yesterday we changed the port number. If you want to change the port number, you have to start the port number. We use this keyword listen to start the port number, and some more thing we did yesterday. The challenge we had yesterday. Okay, if you have one single web server to configure, so it's not big challenge, right? If you have one single web server to configure, I can configure manually. I can use Python. I can use Ansible to configure it, or I can manually type the IP here. that's called the that's called the static IP we can type here. So it's no big deal. The challenge we had here yesterday is, right, our requirement is to configure not one single web server, multiple web server, right? So for example, I have one of the system, we have one more system we had. Very quickly, let me pick the IP of these guys. So this is the one of the web server we have, having the IP 120. So I want IP 120 to be configured as a web server. Plus, I also want some more computers I also want to configure as a web server. So multiple web server we need. Why, we will see in upcoming discussion when I start discussing about the load balancers. But I want multiple system to be configured as my web server. Let's say 174. Okay. Now, if you want to configure two system or maybe 100 system as a web server, it's not a big deal. I will go and create the the file for the I can say for the Ansible, and say this is the file for the Apache server. Upload this file. But challenge here is, if they upload this file, right, in this file we have to put the static IP, for example 120. So this file uploaded to this system, and if this file uploaded to this system, right, this will properly work. It will properly work for us, right? Because the system say I am 120, and because internally in my conf file you write 120, it means I think there's no challenge. It will work for us. But same Ansible with same code, if the same this is the conf file, right? The same conf file, if you upload here, because this system IP is 174, and inside the conf file that you upload from the Ansible with the copy module, yesterday we did, right? So I'm taking this example from yesterday class. Okay, so upload here, right? It will fail. They say my IP is 174, but you upload the conf file with 120. So it won't work. So yesterday, you see, guys, one of the system is working fine, and same playbook I apply on another system that was showing you the older page, or maybe most of the time they might not work properly. Okay, so in this case, how can you solve that? There's two ways. Either before we upload to 174, I manually go to my conf file and update the IP here, and then run the playbook, right? So this IP will update this conf file will update in IP 174. So it's okay if you have one or two nodes, but if you have hundreds and thousands of nodes, and every time before you apply any playbook to that particular node, you manually go to this conf file, update the IP, then run the playbook. So it like again look like a lot of manual thing, right? Right. But today's we are into the world of dynamic, right? So what I mean by dynamic is a big topic, right? Maybe in the Ansible we might not discuss, but when I go for maybe anybody who will the part of my future training like Kubernetes. Okay, here I will explain you dynamically. We launch the pod, dynamic we launch the OS. After some time OS shut down, terminate. We launch the OS. So one thing, multiple OS we keep on increasing, or shutting down, scale in, scale out, right? So it's a dynamic world. IPs keep on changing. So tracking the IP or fixing the IP that my IP is always 120 or always 174 is not never the case in today's world. IPs keep on changing. Servers same, maybe 10 server you want, 10 server will be there, but IPs keep on changing, right? It's a complete dynamic world. So again, I am not discussing those part, but my main point over here is to discuss is I want my playbook to be configured in such a way that we have to configure or create the playbook only once. Okay, and my playbook is so much, I can say, intelligence, or the dynamic. They automatically detected that your IP, wherever you are going to upload the file, is 120. So they will automatically update this information 120. And wherever you upload this file, again say same playbook on 174, they dynamic update this IP to 174. Okay, so let me guys show you this demo, then you'll come to know what exactly I am doing here. But guys, this was the challenge, and this is the one of the task I had given to you yesterday. I think you also tried, or maybe most of the guys might have done this this task. Okay, but yesterday we are facing the issue because of this particular challenge. Okay, but before guys, I will go for this topic. Okay, before you implement this topic, you should know two concepts beforehand. One is fact that you guys know, and you know how we gonna solve this. Okay, whenever I am going to run the playbook, I want to run only one single playbook because my need is single, right? My need is to configure this guy also as a web server, this guy is also a web server, so only one single playbook, one single play I want. I don't want to create a playbook, 100 playbook for 100 different systems, because my final need is to configure the Apache web server. So one playbook or one play I need. Okay, but who will tell me about this IP? And who will tell me about this IP? Okay, here the role of facts come in play. They are the one who help us to tell us the IP address. Okay, so facts is one of the things we need today, but there's one more concept I need today before we solve the challenge we had yesterday. A very important topic. Okay, and that concept is called template. So template is again one of the concepts we need today to solve this. Okay, so what I mean by this, so let's forget for 5 10 minutes about yesterday issue or about the Apache web server. Okay, let me first complete the concept called template, then we'll come back and we merge facts plus template and try to solve the challenge we had yesterday. Okay, so what exactly I'm going to do here, let me go to my controller node. Okay, and what I'm going to do here, I'm going to create one playbook. Let's say f.yml. It's already there, right? z.yml. Okay, and I'm running this playbook against one particular node. Or let's say run on all the nodes, right? So I'm going to run all the nodes, and the task I'm going to run over here just for testing at debug task. Or rather than debug task, let's me use the copy task. Okay, and you guys know about the copy task. In the copy task, you have to tell the destination. Okay, so they will create one file for you. Let's say I'm going to create a file inside a folder called /root and file called zz.txt. So this is the file I am going to create in all the nodes. Okay, plus with the content, which content? With this content called this is test. Just for a small, very simple example. So in all the nodes, this file created with this content. And this content is, I can say string, or I can say is a static content. Let me use the new line also here. Okay, very simple code, nothing special fancy here. And when I run this, it will go to all the IPs that you have in the inventory. Maybe I think I have 3 IPs in the inventory. They go to all the 3 IP. Okay, and and copy the content there. Let me go to one of the IPs here, and here you can see they go and create this content. Okay, pretty straightforward. Okay, but now my requirement here is a little bit different. Maybe whatever the file you want to create, this file might have huge data. Maybe you have 2 or 3 or 4 lines. Okay, so guys, in the Ansible or in the Viable, if you want to send multiple lines, right, then we have a syntax called greater than. So this is a way you can we can upload multiple content to the file. Okay, so if you have a requirement to have send multiple data or multiple lines, you can send in this way. Okay, so this is a syntax from the YAML. So this is symbol that will tell these are the multi lines. So if you have multi lines, You can write the multi-line in this way. I think you have to put in double quotes also. Okay. So if you have lots of data you want to upload, so you can use this kind of multi-line syntax. And guys, this syntax come from the YAML. And now if you go to the system, you can see all the multi-line will come up here. You can put the new line and other things also over there. Maybe over here you can put the new line. So wherever you put the new line in the file, finally new line will store. Okay, so you can put the new line in multiple locations and do the thing. So very common thing. Or you can put variables also in between. So wherever you put the variable, that value will replace, and then they will upload to the final file. Okay, so so they store in this way. Why they store? I want you guys, you just go and figure out why they store in this way. But this is the one of the way. Okay, but my intention was not to tell you this thing. You just figure out about why they print the new line. Maybe they has some extra character to enable this escaping. Okay, but that's not important over here. Okay, my main point over here is, if you want to create a file with a huge content, or maybe content with 10 or 100 of pages, okay, there the content keyword doesn't help you. So instead of the content keyword, we have to use a source keyword that you guys know already. And all the content that you want to copy in this file from the control node is called upload. You can put in this file. For example, my file is called test.txt. So you guys, you know this keyword, right, already. So in test.txt, what the content we have, maybe 10 or 100 pages, I would like to upload here. Okay. Normally we use this keyword. Let's say this is the one of the configuration file, and normally the conf file of database or web server has tens or hundred of pages. Okay. So if you want to send all the conf file in all the systems, okay, so put the one of the conf file data here, and it will put in all the computer whatever you have. Okay, so you guys know how to use source keyword. So let me create this file test.txt, and let's say this is my conf file. Okay, so maybe I had 50 100 pages of content I will put here, and then if I run, this file will upload in all the computers. So we know how to use copy module. So this I just wanted to revise once. But the challenge in the copy module is the challenge in the copy module is, right, in the copy module, sorry, in the copy module, okay, if you want to upload this file to this file, okay, copy module guys upload the file in a static way. Means whatever the content you write here, as it is they upload here. What I mean by this, for example, in this file, if I write one variables here, let's say curly braces x. Okay, so for the Ansible developer, we know this is the variable, because everything we write between the curly braces is the variable. But according to Ansible, because this file we are going to use with the copy module and with the src keyword, if you use with the src keyword, they treat this file as a static file, and they don't go inside the file. I can say they don't parse the file, and they send this file as it is. But let's say we already have a variable called x variable with some data, let's say 55. So we know we have this variable, and we use this variable here. And what I'm expecting, that this variable replace with this value, and after they replace, then they upload. That's what I want. Okay, so let me run here. How to work. So copy module, if you use copy module with the src keyword, they work as a static, means they won't go inside the file, and whatever we have inside the file, they will upload as it is here, curly braces x. So for them, it is like a normal literal or normal variables. But we know it is not a normal variable. It is not a normal string. It is a variables. Okay. To tell to tell Ansible that before you upload this file over here in all the computers, because I write all here in all the computer. I want you go and look inside this file, and wherever you find any special characters, or I can say variables, or any kind of language construct like if or else or for loop, something like this, I want first to process it, and after process, what are the output you will get, that output you will upload here. For example, right now, right now in our case, okay, if you ask to process this file, so the output of this one is not x, output of this one is 55. So I want whenever you find any variable, okay, just process it, and the final output what you will get here, that output I want you from the controller node, because this file right now in the control node, you have to upload to the managed node. That's what I want. Okay, so for this Ansible has a different module available. This it work like a copy module, but the name of the module is not the copy module. Name of the module is called template module. So template is exactly like a copy module, even though if you if you go and search and say Ansible template module, okay, so this is one of the module we have. It is exactly like a copy module. Okay, it will upload the file to the remote system, even though if you see the argument is also same, destination where you want to upload, or you can see the argument also src, okay, from which file you want to upload. Okay, from the internal controller node, everything is same, even though if you see the code is also like same, source and destination, all the things same. So this file upload over here in all the computers, template module, everything same. Only difference is template module is a little bit intelligent. What they do, what they do before before you upload this local file to this remote computer remote file, okay, template module ask Ansible to go inside this file and look each and every line, and wherever they find some special symbol, this is one of the special symbol we have, they represent variable. Some more special symbol we have, we will discuss when we go to a topic called Jinja, because this symbol has come from Jinja. So in the Jinja is one kind of, for a while just think Jinja is one kind of language, just think for a while, but when I start Jinja, I'll tell you what exactly the Jinja is. Okay, so in the Jinja, this symbol represent this is variable. Like this we have some more symbol in the Jinja for loop or while loop or if or else, something like this. Okay, so and template module say, okay, I understand Jinja language, and I know this is a Jinja variable or Jinja special symbol, and I know this is variable, or because I know this is variable, so I will try to look for the value of x, and somewhere it is written x is 55. So I will replace this string with the 55, and then I will upload this file here, and then I will upload the content over there. So let me show you guys. It means everything is same. Okay, I just change my task or module from copy to the template module. Okay, so what you will see in all the computers, in all the computer, they will upload the file, and now what you will see, everything will be same, but wherever you have that variable, you see 55 come up. Okay, wherever you have that variable, they replace the value of that variable with 55. Now it is your choice which variable you would like to use. You would like to use the variable that created by you, and the variable that you create is called user defined variable, UDV. Okay, user defined variable, or you want to use a variable that is pre-created by the Ansible. And one of the variable your name is called Ansible facts. So what can you do? You can also write over here in this file somewhere here. Let's say Ansible underscore facts. That's all. So this variable is not created by us. It's pre-created by Ansible. Okay. So all the value of this variable will be replaced here. Okay, or you don't want to replace all the values, so just get one of the value. For example, one of the value, maybe I think which one is memory, or maybe OS name, I don't know, just let me check. Ansible some of the IP. Let me use setup. So let me pick one of the one of the value. Let me use this one, for example, this one, or let me use some useful. Mm, s- Let me use this one, Linux system. Okay. So over here, Linux system. So they will use this Ansible effect. Wherever they find this key or this variable, they will retrieve this value, and this entire value to be replaced with their respective OS name, maybe Linux or Windows, whatever the value we will get there. Okay, so let me run again my code. So now the interesting thing is, maybe this might fail or might not work properly. Let me see. Yeah, it failed. And they say they have no Ansible system as an attribute. Okay. Why? Because guys, there's small change in the Ansible version. Okay, in the Ansible newer version, from I think from this last two versions, right? Minor version of Ansible. What they do, the fetch name is start with Ansible underscore user underscore dr, Ansible underscore up underscore second, or Ansible underscore swap or memory free, Ansible underscore system. So the complete name of the fact is this one. But if you want to use this fact in some of the playbook or somewhere else, okay, the actual key name is only system. Okay, you don't have to use this prefix. The actual name of the fact is or key is system or swap total m or swap free m. So Ansible underscore that you see over here is actually not the part of your name of the key. Okay, so technically what I'm trying to tell you here is, okay, here you don't have to use the complete name, you just use after this. Okay, so a small change they have did. So they say the main variable that we store everything is answer fact, and if you want to retrieve any of the fact over here in this latest version of the Ansible, okay, you have to use the last name. Means Ansible underscore, after Ansible underscore, whatever name you have to reuse here. Okay. Now if I run here, so interesting thing is they are going to all the IPs. Okay, and they're trying to retrieve their OS name. You know, the interesting thing is they go to 174 and say, hey, 174, who are you? They say, I'm Linux. So they're getting the information and store in the files here in the last line, Linux. Then they're going to IP 155, 120. They say, who are you? They say, I'm Windows. So they store in the Windows file that your Windows. And they say here, I'm Linux. They store in this their respective file that I'm Linux. So on the fly, dynamically, they are retrieving their information. Or maybe a little bit, let me clean this file. Okay, to that look a little bit better. Okay. So they say, hey, I know you are this OS. Okay. So I can say, because right now, this is the one of the file. Okay, this is one of the file that we are going to upload in all the computers. And my requirement is, before I upload the file, I will tell about the system. That hey, I want to say, hey, I know you are Linux, I know you are Windows, I know you are Ubuntu, something like this. Or maybe I would like to retrieve the IP address. For example, if you want to retrieve the IP address, so let me pick the name of name of the uh, fact. Okay. So if you want to retrieve the IP address of that guy, okay, so just go and check what is a variable name that store the IP address. Or because there's a lot of information we have, what can we do? We can use pipe less. So if you have a lot of information, guys, come in the command line, you can use pipe less. It will show the information from the first line. Okay. So this is one of the basic Linux command. So these are the information it is coming. Okay, here. And if you go up, it is the from the first line. And if you go down, Okay, somewhere you will see, okay, this is the variable we have. Inside this variable, we have one more variable, and this variable contain your IP address. Okay. So technically, if you want to only retrieve the IP address, you have to use a variable called or fact called or key called this one. Then inside this key, there are a lot of keys. But if you are looking for the IP address, so this is the key we have to use. So if you want to use key inside the key, it's like a nested array. Okay. So anybody who ever work on a nested array, or I can say associative array, right? How we use it's something like this. So what can I do here? I write here, hey, I know your IP address is this one. Inside this one, we have address. Okay, but both all the guys are belong to what? Ansible facts. So we got everything inside Ansible facts. Inside the Ansible fact, we have this key. Inside this key, we have this key. Okay, so this is my main variable that is stored all the information. Inside this, we have this variable that contain this information. So technically, let me show you again. Okay, so it contains all the information, and inside this particular key, we have one more key. This is called this one. And inside this, we have one more key. This is called address, and this is the one who contains my actual value. That is the IP address of the system. Okay, so that's what we have written here. I told you in the latest version of Ansible, the main key that you have Ansible underscore default IP address, you have to remove the Ansible underscore, because this is one of the key, like a string. You have to put this guy as a double quote, or maybe I think single quote also work here, or because this from here till here it is a variable. This is not a variable. Okay, to tell this a variable, you have to write between the curly braces. Curly braces. So interesting thing is, okay, this file we are going to upload in multiple IPs. But before this file upload, this file first auto detect about their IP address and say, hey, I know your IP 155. They update the IP 155 here, and they upload there. So if when they go to 174, they update here 174, and they go to 174. So what I mean by this, let me show you. When I run this code again, okay, when I run this code again, it will run in all the IPs. But before they run all the IP, we gather all the information from these three IPs. And after gather all this information, template module will retrieve one or two key of facts from here. Okay, and all the facts they will replace in this file. After they replace in this file, then this file will upload it. Where? In all the three systems. And now if you see here, what we will have, okay, this system will have this is IPs. And say, even though if you want to compare also, they say, hey, I know you are 174. Now if I go to 120 IP and same file uploaded here and say, I know you are 120. So technically, dynamically, they detect who are you, your IP address, your OS name, your OS version, your other things, okay, your memory, okay, and accordingly, wherever you want to use, you want to upload the file, you want to change the content, or you want to take a decision like, if your memory is less than 2 GB, I don't want to use. If your memory is more than 4 GB, I would like to use for Docker or databases. So lots of things we can do. We'll keep on using the facts, guys. Don't worry. So today's the first day. Maybe you guys might not be comfortable in one go, but multiple time we're going to use. You guys become very much comfortable. But it's a very interesting thing, guys. No, otherwise, if you use any other, uh, I can say the language, right, for scripting like Python or cell scripting or PowerShell, right? This facility is not available there. You have to manually create an extra script for this. The script will go to IP 120, find out the total RAM they're free. They will come back and accordingly write in the conditions. But this is the by default or out of the box facility provided by the Ansible kind of tool. So there's a great thing. Okay. So now these two concepts, guys, we're going to use to solve the issue what we had yesterday. Okay. So what exactly I want I want IP 120 to be configured as Apache web server. 174 is to be configured as Apache web server. Or let's say I have one more IP. Let's go for two IP. So let me update my inventory first. So I have two IPs. I want both the IPs to be configured as Apache web server. But I want Apache web server to be configured or to be customized. Okay. So technically what I need, what we have, what exactly we want, I want, because my playbook is the one who will upload the conf file here, who will upload the conf file here with the same name, with the same location. The only change is in the conf file of this guy and the conf file of this guy, everything is same. The only change is only change is this one. We have to update the IP here. Okay. And if you want to update the IP, now here we're gonna use the help of facts, because we know whenever we run the playbook always go here, retrieve all the information, they plus retrieve IP also, or they store the IP in one variable. That's called fact. Okay, so after I when I run the playbook, I want my playbook go here, get the IP address, and this IP address we give to a concept called template. And I say template. This is the file I'm going to give you. I can give this file to copy module also, but copy module upload the file as it is. I don't want. I want before you upload here, I'm going to put one IP address as a variable. Okay, and this variable comes from Ansible. I'll just replace this value. After replace, then the upload. The same example that I show you right now. Okay, it means the same playbook without any change in the code. That's what I want, right? Maybe I have hundreds of computers to be configured. I don't want to create 100 different files for 100 computers, because my need is same. That is to configure the Apache web server. So what I'll do here, again, same playbook. When I run it, go to this system. They retrieve all the facts. In the facts, they retrieve IP address also. And this information I give to same template, same file, or same this file. And template say, before I upload this file to remote system, I will replace this IP address of the respective IP. Here in this case is 174. So let me guys show you this demo, right? Then you will understand what exactly we are going to do. Okay. So yesterday we had created this code. Okay, this is called web prerequisite. This code, and in this code, everything is working good, working good. But in this code, um, uh, here over here, okay, this is the copy module who is uploading this file over here in all the computers. Okay, and this is the conf file of our server. But right today, because yesterday, guys, this file is uploaded. Sorry, this file is uploaded with the copy module. It means what are content we write here as it is the upload there. And what content we write over here is this one. Means whatever we write here, as it is uploaded. And if they upload as it is, so if you run this playbook against 174, that's nice. There's no challenge, because 174 need in this conf file 174. So there's no challenge we had. Okay, but the same playbook, if you run against 120, they will it will impact. Okay, because 120 say I am 120, but my conf file has 174 written. That is the reason, guys, yesterday at 120 IP thing was not working. So what we have to do? Only two changes we have to do over here. The first change is instead we use copy module in this case, right? I have to change with template module. There's one small change we have to do. Template module will do the exactly same thing. They will get this local file from the control node and upload in all the target node. Okay. But the good thing about template module is before the upload, they go to this file. Okay. And wherever they find IP address or any variable, I can say, let's say this is one of the variable. They replace this variable with their respective values. And now the challenge over here is because right now we don't know the variables of my target node. because today IP is 120, 174, but in the bigger dynamic world like Kubernetes or other world, IPs keep on changing. So IPs keep on changing. I don't know that point in time when we are running this playbook, what is the IP of that system. So here we use the help of facts. Because we know whenever the playbook run, facts always go and retrieve that current IP address, and that IP address they store in one variable, and that variable we use here. And you guys know that variable is called Ansible underscore facts and something about something. I don't know. I don't have remember. So I had to just go use the Ansible command and I ask Ansible, run Ansible against one of the node and use the setup module and get it from there. We don't have to remember 155 or maybe run against any of the nodes you have. So here they tell you they store all the information about the IP address in this variable default underscore IP4. Okay. So let me write here and here address. Because this is a key or like a string put in the single quote or maybe in the double quotes. I think both will work. So that was a challenge we had yesterday. We had yesterday. Okay. Now everything now look better and good. Intention is, you know what? Intention is hundreds of computers we're going to have in the future. And we don't know the IP address. IPs keep on changing. But the final requirement is to configure the Apache web server. And I want all the Apache web server to configure with single playbook or single play. Okay. I don't want to keep on changing every time because again, it will be very much messy if you keep on changing every time. Okay. Guys, can you hold for a second, please? Okay. So let me run this. Okay. So before I run very quickly, let me revise this file so you guys can sync. So initially in this file, they're asking me, okay, can you tell me the location where you want to mount your DVD? Okay, this is one thing. Okay, second thing, here they ask you to first we create this folder for you, then we mount your CD-ROM, then we configure the yum wherever your DVD is mounted, then we install this software for you, then we'll create one document root for you. Okay, then we'll upload your customized conf file. Because your document root today is www.viml. Okay, so that is the reason we upload your web pages to the same location and same folder. We update in the conf file also. So we update in the conf file also www.viml. Okay, and this entire conf file we uploaded to your target node. And after this, we restart your services because when you change something in the conf file, we have to restart service, otherwise thing won't work. And whatever port number we have, we enable on the firewall. Okay, so let me run this. Yesterday it was not working. Maybe some of the part was not working. Let me very small change. Let me also do. So today I am going to change the content. So I'm putting a www web. So you can see this will be the new content come up today. Okay, and Ansible playbook and the name of the content. Let's see what happened. Here they're asking you where to mount a DVD. Let me mount a DVD in DVD5 folder. So your DVD mounted here. They create this folder for you. They mount your DVD. They configure the yum in both the computers. They install the software. Then they do something here. Okay, the template means obviously they are uploading the conf file. And again, guys, if you notice one thing, if your code become bigger and bigger, Okay, so most of the time we are going to use same module name, like copy module we use here, or file module we use here. And if you see file module also we use here. But looking at this task, very harder to tell while running the playbook what this file module is doing for you. Are they creating the directory for the CD-ROM, or they are creating the your document root? So it's always good practice, guys, to give your task a name. Okay, but if guys your task, if you don't give any task a name, they will give you they give you a name of your module here. What I mean by this is always good practice, right? For example, over here, right, you can give a task a name. And how to give the name? Simple. Just you can use the keyword called name format name. And let's say this name is name is creating mount point directory for CD-ROM. Just give some human friendly name. Otherwise, everything is same. A name in file is a mean task or module. It should be come in the same int. Okay. Similarly, for example, let me give this one as a name. This is the document format. Document root for web. Okay. So like it look now very much clear, right? When while running the playbook. Now, while running the playbook, wherever you give the name, they will display that user-friendly name. So anybody who running your playbook, you can they say, now they come to know what exactly they are doing. Okay, they are actually mounting that active OCD ROM here. Okay, so even though if you go to next one, so it's always good practice, guys. All tasks always try to give the names that look very clear, and name is very much useful in the upcoming class. I'll show you. We are also using these names somewhere else also. Okay, now if I open my website, IP address 174 on port number 8080, new website come up. Okay, and if I open the new IP, there's one more IP we had, it's called 120, same website come up. Okay, yesterday was not working, right? Now it is working because dynamically they retrieve the IP. Even though I can show you very quickly, if you go to IP 120 and try to go to this folder called etc httpd conf.d, this file they created, and if you open this file, this is the conf file for the Apache web server. You can see the dynamic update IP 120. And same time, if you go to IP 174, okay, and try to open the same file, again they upload the same file in the same location, the same name, but the content is different. See here, IP 174 the updated. Okay, the updated. And you can do some more small thing, small changes here. The small changes is something like this. For example, right now we know this folder is www, but maybe in the future I would like to change my document root. So I told you guys yesterday is good, always good practice to get variables. Okay, so let me let me delete this part. I sometime I don't like web prompt. Let me delete this. Okay, and let me use the variable here. It's called less wares. Okay, so it means wherever we have this variable, they will replace with this one. So they will create a folder called DVD5 for DVD-ROM. Similarly, I'm going to create one more variable that's called document root. And name of the document is called var www. Okay, so wherever we have a document, I can say doc root. This makes more sense. Okay, and what doc root is one variable, right? And where I'm going to use, so I'm going to use document here. So I want this will create this document root. Okay, plus we use document root also here where we upload our web pages. So let me also update here. So why I'm doing this? Because today maybe my document is www, but in the future I want to change it. So I don't have to change everywhere. And guys, one more location we have to write document is this file. And good thing is this file is not a normal file, it's a template file. Or because it is template file, so inside this file also we can use a variable. So here we can also use a variable. Document. So you create a variable in the main file, but you can use also over here. Similarly, I can do one more thing. Maybe today we have a requirement to use the port number 80, 8080. But maybe in the future, I would like to change my port number. So I can say STD port. Just give any variable name. Or today is 8080. Okay. So wherever you use or want to change, you normally use the port number, apply there. So if you go to this file, we use the port number over here in the firewall. So replace this guy with the variable. And we use port number in my conf file also here. Now, if you try to see here, I'm making my code very much dynamic, right? Now anybody and everybody can use this code to dynamically change the environment. Okay, they don't have to write this code. Because configuring the website is same. But for company, the port number will change, the document will maybe change, or something will be changed, right? Otherwise, everything is same. Okay. And guys, that is the reason. And now if you see this file, this is the main conf file of Apache Web Server. When you see this file, right, everywhere we have a variable. We have a variable. It means we are giving options to the user of this playbook that I am giving you a facility to configure your Apache Web Server or Hadoop or Docker, whatever you want to configure dynamically. Just tell what you want to change. And that might be reason why we say this kind of file is called template file. Why a template? Because the common thing is always fixed, and a remaining part that anybody want to change. Like in mobile phone, we have templates for SMS, right? So it's like a pre-created templates we have created. Now, if anybody want to use this file, they have the choice. They don't have to worry about how we write the code. Okay, this code is for configuring the Apache Web Server, and now they are giving you 3 facility. Okay, just change this value of the variable and do the changes. And even though, guys, is always good practice, this is the main conf file or this is a new main playbook. So it's always good practice. Don't open the main playbook. So what can we do? Okay, we can create one extra file for variable. Let's say var.yml. Okay, or let me create a full file called http_var.yml and put all the variable here. Okay, how? Let me show you. So go to your main file. Okay, delete this 4 lines. Sorry, this lines. Let me copy these lines. I don't want this one, and all this variable is stored in another file. That's all. This one. Well, I think we don't have to give hyphen also here. So this is a separate file for variable, right? And where I put all the variables and the value in this file. And now what happened, guys? Whenever you run your main playbook, you tell your main playbook that main playbook you have to use some variables over here, some variable here. But from where you have to pick this variable from this file. So for this, guys, once you have to include this file. How to include? So for this, we have one keyword here called vars_files, and you have to include that file. So technically now, if you think in the C, this playbook is being created by us. We have tested this playbook, working good. Now no challenge. And now we provide this playbook to my other team members and say, this is the main playbook, run it. Right? And if they run it, let me show you. Everything working good, no challenge. But we have given a facility to these guys, to my team members, and say, if you run this playbook, but if you think before you run the playbook, you want to change some customization, right? You want to change your port number, you want to change your document root, right? We have given you one facility. You can go and change it very quickly, very easily. Okay, maybe you guys are not the Ansible developers and you don't know how to change that code, or it's not good practice to change to a main code. Okay, even after that code has been tested, because maybe some kind of mistake we might have done. Okay, so we giving the facility that this is the one extra file we have given you as a variable file. Typically in the real world, this file is known as parameter file, right, or attribute file. Okay, we give this kind of parameter file. Just go and you think no, your port number is not 80, right? You want your port number to be 80, 80 or 80, 81. The change here. You don't want to use your document with Vimel. You want to use a document called, let's say, Linux World 123. Change it. Or maybe you fold on to change, you can change it. Just change this value. Or, now it look like very much anybody who ever work on IT or admin team. Okay. So this file is very much now look like a configuration file where we have key and value. We have key and value. And now we don't have to worry more about the internal code written by my team or my other developers of the Ansible. My requirement is, if some kind of customized requirement come up, right, I just go and change this file. That's all. And now if I run my main playbook, you'll see whatever I change in my variable, it will update it. Now from now onward, my web server will work on port number 8081. My document will change. Whatever we ask them to change, they will change this for us. Okay, let me show you. Now, see, even though if you see, there's something is changing, right? Because we ask them to change the document root. We ask them to change the conf file because document will change. Okay, and now there's some kind of error come up. Why this error come up? Again, if you guys go through my web server classes that I talked about, there's some issue of the no issue. Actually, there's some kind of security. That's called SE Linux. So SE Linux is the one who will deny to change the port number of the web server. So according to SE Linux, you can change port number 80. You can change port number to 8080. Maybe I think they might allow you to change port number 81, but not any other port number you can change. That is SE Linux is one of security. They say we don't allow. Okay, but here I asked them to change the port number 8081. Maybe because of SE Linux on my target node, they're not allowing me. Okay, so for this we can create SLNS rule, but I don't want to, guys, right now. I don't want to dump extra information on you, just for testing. For a while, I'll show you in the future classes, but just for testing, if you see here in this system, I have SLNS enabled. Let me disable the SLNS manually, even though we can write some Ansible code for this also. And let me disable SLNS also here. Okay. But I'll show you guys in my future classes how to deal or tackle this issue with the Ansible, or writing some rule of SLNX with Ansible. We'll see, but I don't want to discuss today because otherwise a lot of information will be dumped in the single classes in today's class. Okay. So now what you will see, your web server has been configured according to my customer requirement. And now the good thing is about this playbook is, okay, playbook is now this playbook is so much customized or customizable, right? Any new computer come up, for example, let's say suddenly we have a requirement come up that we need one more web server to be configured. Let's say this one, I have IP155. So right now IP155 is not web server. Okay, and my need is to configure IP155 as my web server. Okay, so what I'll do, nothing special. I just go and change my inventory file and update the IP here. That's all. And suddenly, let's say we company have two servers and we have sudden new traffic come up, huge traffic come up, and we need one more server to be launched. So it's so quick. Just change the inventory file. Okay. And if you think you want to change the new server to be on the other port number, change here if you want. Okay, but just for testing, just let me disable the CNNX here. Okay, and again run the playbook. That's all. So one click. Okay, one more new server come up, and the gather effects will get the information, right? They will get their IP address, their RAM and CPU, whatever you write in your code, and accordingly they configure for us. And if you see all the orange color in IP155 come up, means they are configuring IP155. And you'll see soon, within a second, your IP174 is running on port number 8081. See here, new website come up. If you go to IP120, same exact copy of website will come up. And if you go to 155, exact new copy come up. Still they're waiting. I think they are configuring. They're still configuring. See here, new website come up. Okay. So it's so quick, right? So quick. Okay. So today, guys, we discussed about two topics. One called template, one called facts. Very much powerful topic, facts. We are going to use facts a lot in a multiple way. So when I start concept of conditions and something like this, a lot of challenges we have that our intelligence tool by default won't able to solve for us. Okay, there we have to use facts, use with some conditions to solve those challenges. Guys, if you notice, I just keep on enhancing my code per day basis. And every day when we are enhancing the code, I will first explain you the concepts, new concepts, and then we add those concepts. So multiple things we are doing every day basis. We are learning new concepts. We are testing those concepts by some simple files and applying these concepts on this file. But guys, only one small challenge you'll see in this file that I don't like, and I want you take as a homework to try to solve it. Okay. The challenge that I am not liking about my code is my code is because Ansible is the tool that work as an idempotence. Means if something is not required, don't do it. Don't change it. In this case, I haven't changed anything. I haven't changed any conf file. Right. And even though I haven't changed any conf file, but Ansible always run my service. See here, why they're running the service? Orange color come up, right? And whenever you run anything unwanted, obviously it will impact your performance. Because obviously, if you restart a service or run the service, even though I don't require my service to be restarted here, because why I want my service to be restarted? Because none of the conf file is changed, none of the port number is changed. But even though, guys, whenever you run the Ansible playbook, okay, if you change your conf file, we don't change your conf file, especially here, because we change the conf file very rarely, maybe in a month once, maybe. But in this playbook, they are running your conf file unwanted. So they are running your service on unwanted. So running the service unwanted is all technically is not good thing also for a lot of reason. But again, in the terms of performance also here, they are impacting the performance because they are running the service unwanted. So I can say in this example, especially in the service part, Ansible is not behaving as a idempotence because what I need my service to be started, and service already started. What I want, and my conf file is not yet changed. It's not yet changed. So why are you starting my services? Always. Why are you changing my service always? Okay. So technically, you need your website to be configured is there, but it doesn't means you just write any kind of code. Your code to be so much optimized and so much properly working for us, right? So I want, guys, you just tried to solve this challenge. How we can tackle this? So what I want my code to be intelligent. Whenever I change something in the conf file, then only you can see the orange color here or service started. But if you think your code is not changing, or I say your conf file is not changing, I don't want my service to be started. It should come here with the green color with change equals to 0. That's what I want. So this is one thing I want you have to try. One more small thing I just want to tell you guys here is, okay, if you till from a first class, and this task I'm especially giving to those guys who know Hadoop. Okay, who know Hadoop. Maybe almost everyone who are from a Earth program, they know Hadoop. Otherwise, anybody who are directly enrolled in Ansible over here, if they know Hadoop, they can try. Otherwise, I just want to give extra task over there. Okay. So I want guys, you have to write a playbook, okay, that will install Hadoop software with Ansible, or they will start a services of the Hadoop with Ansible. Just try it. Okay. Again, Hadoop is software like HTTPD. Hadoop also has service like HTTPD. But I just want you just go and check, does service module, that is intelligent module or package module, that is again the intelligent module, is working there or not. So anybody who know by chance Hadoop, especially Hadoop version 1, okay, in my art program, we are right now learning Hadoop version 1, and we guys know how to configure Hadoop manually. I want you to try to install Hadoop with Ansible, with obviously with package module, and start the Hadoop services. Hadoop daemon service, we normally start with name node and data node. I want you to try with the service. It is two things I want to try. Otherwise, if you want to configure entire Hadoop cluster, that would be always great. But I want at least try two things. Okay, then uh, if you're good, if you done this, that's great. Otherwise, in my next class, I will show you what is the challenge we are facing. Okay, and why I'm giving Hadoop class, don't worry, anybody who don't know Hadoop, in my next class, okay, I'll pick one topic that will give a sense why I'm giving this task to some of the students over here. Okay, so that's one. And one more, guys, small task I just wanted to give to everyone. Okay, everyone. I want guys, you maybe most of you guys are working in the industry. So I just want, if you can create a small a note or blog or post or article, or I don't know, whatever guys you are comfortable on, a video, and try to create a, like, say, one blog where you write how your industry are using Ansible, and what kind of use case your industry is solving with the Ansible, or what kind of use case is there that you're facing the issue or challenges. It's not solving with Ansible, but you can solve with Ansible. Okay, so I want this one. Or anybody who are just a student and not working in the company, you can just go and search on the internet, and how, for example, JPMC is a company, or Wells Fargo, or Bank of America, or Samsung, or XYZ, right? How these company are utilizing the Ansible to solving some of the use cases. Obviously, Ansible they are using for config management. Some company are also using Ansible for some other purpose also that I will discuss in upcoming classes. But main purpose for the Ansible is the configuration management. So I suggest guys, if you can write this thing and share in some to others in social media and somewhere, so everybody learn, right? For example, somebody maybe here from Infosys or maybe from Accenture, so you guys know how you guys use it. So whatever the information to share to others, share it, so other guys can also learn how your company is utilizing Ansible and what kind of challenges solving or not solving, but can be solved with Ansible. Do it. Even though we have to do discuss a lot of things in Ansible, but till now I think you guys get the high level idea, the exact use of the Ansible. Okay, this task is compulsory for all the Earth learner. Otherwise, anybody who are not the Earth learner by chance, it is optional for them, but it is compulsory for all the Earth learner. Just go to Google and search and try to figure out what kind of use cases companies, in which companies is solving with the help of Ansible. Okay, so that's all, guys, for today. Next class would be directly on. I think we have the class from Tuesday to Friday. So next class directly would be on Tuesday. I'm talking about Ansible, but otherwise, who guys are the part of my Earth program or the cloud program. So tomorrow we have a cloud AWS class at the same time, 6 o'clock, I believe. So see you guys tomorrow at 6 o'clock. But otherwise, any questions or query if you have till now, you can ask me. Not part, actually, PHP we won't discuss in the Earth, but like PHP, we have other languages. So all the use case that PHP do for us, we can do with other languages. some of the example we might pick, but as such we don't do PHP here by chance. Ayush, if you want to install VM here, I think in one of my ISC RSC essay class, I have discussed there how to install VM in the CLI mode. I think I don't know what exactly your use case requirement is, but in one of the class I have discussed to install virtual machine with the CLI. I don't know. You're asking with the CLI or with or in CLI. So two different things, right? So I don't know what your exact need is. If you can a little bit more elaborate, I might help you. Vansita, actually, it work both, right? It is not only to take your career towards the technology or not to the coding, right? It work both both together, right? If you want to learn technology is always good, because without technology you can't do anything great. But everywhere you go, you need a coding. Coding doesn't mean you to go hard code. For example, here we are also doing coding, right? Coding, and with the coding, you're configuring a lot of things. So coding also have a different verticals or dimensions, right? But yeah, slowly if you start doing this, these things, you become comfortable with it. The technology also, coding also, both the things also. Don't worry, we've just started. Yes, Vivek, we can keep base OS app stream repo in one single file. Right, we can do it. It's not good practice. So there's a reason with Ansible, Yum repo, they create two different files, but technically we can put in both the files also. Yes, actually, right now we are doing RSCE. This training, Ansible is a part of RSCE. So for the Ansible, there is no as such need for RSCSA. Whatever the basic concept we needed, I have shared those videos to you of RSCSA. But yeah, if you know all the concept of RSCSA, that's always good. But not not every concept we need for the Ansible. Where we did need to create a active conf file. Avinyasam, we have to create the web server conf file in the target node. But for this, first we have to put in the control node. Control node is the one who upload in the target node. So right now, if you see here, all the file I have created on my on my target node, and from here we have uploaded. So finally, web server will be configured in the target node only. But who will configure target node? My control node. And how will give the control node the file that we have to upload? Obviously, we have to create. Can we start Python for tomorrow? Nikhil, by chance, no. I wanted, but I am just still in the recovery phase. I try to avoid as much as um, classes. So I'm doing very limited classes. But maybe from next weekend, we will resume our Python classes also. Yes, Yukta, I want you try this thing, right? No best option, right? How can you tackle this? So maybe my next class will give this answer. So anything that you have to give extra option, like in yum command, if you install Docker with no best, so how we can provide this option in the Ansible? I want you to just try it. Otherwise, my next class will give this answer to you. Yes, Sunil, I we definitely try. As such, we don't have so much. I don't have so much plan to launch a DevOps more topic, but most probably because we have already announced, so most probably we will launch at least one more DevOps program called Kubernetes. Maybe after this Ansible, or if after Ansible, then we will start with the same timing. So don't worry about the timing. Maybe Terraform we might also start. uh, couldn't understand the template part properly. Don't worry, Kanika. Guys, it takes always whenever we learn new topic in one go, we won't able to exactly link it. Practice multiple angles or multiple example. Keep on coming in my upcoming classes. You guys become comfortable with these topics. Why place the hyphen? I think Ayush, we told you already. Hyphen is to tell that this is the list or this is the item of the list. Yes, Ajinskia, we can put the HTML code also in the HTML Ansible, right? So there's a lot of example come up where I put the HTML code inside the Ansible or Ansible inside the HTML. Both the way we can do, depend upon the requirement. So we'll discuss. Yes, maybe rather from next week, we will resume our remaining topic of Earth, like ML or DSA, other things also. Hadoop. Yes, Manan, you can run the shell scripting inside the playbook of Python code. Okay, how? Maybe next classes will explain you. We also discuss about else if or else also. Yes, Nilesh, you can use handler for this. Session is mind blowing. Thank you very much, Sobit. Yes, yes, Sobit is very very interesting. In my upcoming class, I will talk on those part. How we can customize Ansible for the research and for your own customized requirement. Okay, I'll take in very detail this class. So we'll discuss in my upcoming classes. Yes, Chirag, you're right. Ad hoc command doesn't gather the facts. If you want to gather the facts, you have to use setup command, technically known as setup module. Thanks, Ami. Yes, yes, you can also, guys, you can also configure your control node as a target node. So your same time, your control node can be also a target node. You can put your control node IP also there to configure your control node. Nishant, yeah, it is not compulsory, guys, to put the value of the variable in the double quotes. Like std put, I haven't put in double quote because 8080 is like an integer. But if you put also, it will work. Both the case it work. But good practice is like 8080 port number that I used because it is a variable. So it is integer. So technically, as a developer, we don't put in the double quotes. That's the only reason. So can we have to remember so much? No, Ayush, you don't have to remember. Even though if you see, I haven't remembered anything, right? Yeah, when I wanted some fact to open, I use setup module and get the information, right? So after some time, you become so much comfortable with these basic commands. And if you know those basic command, it'll give you a path to find some advanced things. Yes, yes, Sandeep, we are going to discuss about the dynamic inventory in very much detail in my upcoming classes. It's a part of one of my advanced class, so we will discuss there. Yes, Ayush, we can add multiple variable files. That is the reason I use hyphen there. Okay, so because I use hyphen means here I can give multiple variable files. So if you see here, so I use hyphen. Hyphen means this first file I have written, but I can write one more file. So multiple variable file you can write here. Okay. Format. Yes, Abhishek, you can solve this question with handler and written code. Both the things it work. it will work for us. Hadoop is available in Yum. Prabhajit, that you have to figure out. You have to find by yourself. I will give the answer from my side, but I want you just try. How we will join the Earth classes? GAN is not possible. We already been closed registration, so Earth nobody can join. So I think guys, most guys are asking little bit similar questions. So, and some of the questions that you are asking can be will be discussed in upcoming classes like AWS and other things. So guys, I want other question that you asking me. Just you just please try by yourself. I think after you try, you will get the answer. Or otherwise, the remaining questions is being solved by the topic that I'm going to discuss next week. Okay. So that's all, guys. I just wanted to conclude the today's class. See you tomorrow at 6 p.m. in the AWS class. Okay. Bye. Take you guys. Thank you very much. Bye. See you.